Hello, it's Tuesday, I'm Garthnix, and this is another squad line battle. Welcome to the stream. We've got a 15-minute delay today, as always, so if you are expecting to be able to interact with me, or me interact with chat, you might have another thing coming, but I will, if there's any kind of problems with the stream, as always, try and get on that as soon as possible. I'm trying to monitor it here on my end, but if you would like to mention in chat if there is a problem, do just let me know and I'll try and get on it as soon as possible. We're on FOY today, server 2, as usual. We've got two good commanders this week, I believe. Kind of pretty well practiced. We have got, let me see, Polemos, potentially, although I'm not sure. We've got a Fins Let Loose commander. This is why I'm kind of hesitant, because Polemos is actually registered for 3 squads today, so I'll be interested to see who actually jumps on. And then on the other side, we've got PBS Mr. Bombastic. So looking forward to seeing what Mr. Bombastic's got to give. As far as I know, not played commander here before, certainly not since I've been kind of on the tenure as a server 2 caster. Possibly played on server 1, I don't know. Polemos, he has commanded before, but not sure if it's going to actually be him or if it's somebody else. We'll wait and see. I might try and get them on after the stream. We'll see what happens. We've kind of had a bit of a lull recently in getting the commanders on after the stream. I think as much as anything that's been because it's not been clear who's commander ahead of time, so I can't kind of ask them and prime them ahead of the game. Next week, hopefully, I will get a little bit more information, but it has been a bit thin on the ground and still is so, like I say, with the commanders tonight. However, we're streaming on the Axis tonight, so we'll be kind of following Polemos, if that is who's commanding. And there's a couple of interesting squads here on this team. So we've got Don D, who, massive thanks to them as always for server 2 for facilitating this. They provided the server for this evening. I should say before we get started as well, huge thanks as always to the organisers of Squad Line Battle, Werner Voss, Dragster, excuse me, S1, and others. Like we wouldn't be here without you, and it's going from strength to strength. We're on 2 servers, going to be more soon probably, but it's not easy always for these guys to do it, so massive thanks to them. Then we've got some other interesting squads. So we've got DC have a squad in the Axis tonight. So DC renowned for their kind of shooting capabilities, always fun to watch. We've got 2 Fin Let Loose squads, it looks like, which will be interesting. They of course progressing to the main stage of the Hell Let Loose Spring Seasonal. STDB have a squad here too. They have also progressed to the next stage. CC, they are here too. Hell Let Loose Poland, they are also here too, and they also have progressed to the next stage of the Hell Let Loose Seasonal. So very, very exciting. We've also got Fins Let Loose on Arty, Fins Let Loose on Tanks. We've got WD44 on Tank Squad. 2 FJG on Recon, and some more Don D guys on Recon as well. On the other team, we've got, like I mentioned before, PBS Mr. Bombastic as the commander, I think. HTD have a Recon squad. There is another kind of unnamed Recon squad who we look forward to seeing in the game. There's a Fins Let Loose tank. By the way, Fins Let Loose tanking on both sides will be really interesting because they've been playing great tanks at the moment. Then we've got another tank, a Don D squad. We've got a full infantry squad of Don D on that side as well. HTD have a squad. DC also have a squad on the other team, so lots and lots of kills probably on this one. SCDB also have a squad on the other side as well, on the allies. Demos, massive shout out to them too. They have a squad as well. Hell Let Loose Italy also have a squad, and Phalanx, massive shout out to Scars and the guys from Phalanx. Always nice to see them here. They're definitely stalwarts of Squad Line Battle and a great bunch of guys. So we won't kind of like hang around too long. I'm tempted to talk a little bit about Spring Seasonal, but I won't. We'll stick to Squad Line Battle tonight. But if you are interested in finding out more about the Spring Seasonal, here's my little sneaky pitch. Have a look on the videos on my stream. Myself and Known Connection, who has been known to stream Squad Line Battle as well, we do a show every Monday that's kind of like a roundup and also a look forward. We call it the recapping. You get it, of the Spring Seasonal, and that is saved from yesterday as my last stream, so do check that out. really exciting. We had Abusify, who's been amazing at sorting out the Discord server for that, and also like a bunch of the bots, you know, the Bandwave bots, etc. Like, he came on, kind of talked to us about the stats. We got a bunch of clips, like some awesome clips from the seasonal, and obviously, like I said, the kind of recapping and the look forward at the week ahead. So we are playing squad line battle tonight, so what that means is that it's not a full competitive game. It is a public match, effectively, but where you have to kind of put yourself forward as a squad to join it. So what we find is that people who play squad line battle tend to know what they're doing, so we're not likely to get kind of Gary's just built like 1 foot inside a red sector or something mental like that. We also see lots and lots of competent teams. They kind of put people in here, or, you know, squads from competent teams come in here kind of to keep their eye in. So as I mentioned before, we've got a bunch of Finn Let Loose guys, some Hell Let Loose Poland, SCDB. We've got 2 DC squads, 1 on each side, and DC like renowned shooters. So really good game. Hopefully squad leaders know what they're doing, commanders should know what they're doing, so always a fun watch. You can apply. All you got to do is sign up. The thing opens tomorrow. The what do you call it? The application opens tomorrow. But before we get into it, let's just have a quick look at the map. As I mentioned before, we are on FOY. I'll just jump over to my strat sketch here. So we're going to be watching Axis, which means that we are kind of looking at the top. So we've sort of got our spawns up here at the top, and going to be moving down through the map this way. And obviously the allies down here at these HQ spawns marked down the bottom here. In terms of the central points, then we often see Southern Edge, which is much fairer than it ever used to be. It's right out here in the open, kind of right out in the middle of this field out here, which makes it absolutely brutal. I was actually playing this map briefly earlier today. I hardly play Hell Let Loose nowadays, so busy with the casting and everything, but did kind of manage to jump on for like 1 game earlier, and yeah, had to be FOY, didn't it? Oh my goodness, it's so difficult, this map. It's just like an absolute death trap, especially this round Southern Edge. You can't see it on here, but there's kind of some trenches like in this kind of area, and then like a building here, and that is it. You're stuck out in the middle of the field. The routes in are obviously pretty obvious, kind of down these roads here, and even across this way. This building has good sight lines too. Many of you will have played this map before, but you know that it's all open fields. We're obviously in the snow today, so like uniforms and everything stick out like a sore thumb, especially in the open fields when you kind of run it across. Obviously some of them have these little what do you call them, the like hay bales or whatever in them. I was going to say silos, but that's not quite right. The hay bales in them, and they sort of provide cover, but they're a bit of a false hope sometimes, because you can kind of get stuck behind them. Southern Edge then, like a really hotly contested point, and much fairer than it ever used to be. In terms of the German side, they're going to be wanting to have positions up this way, secure this road out here, probably try and secure this angle around here as well, and it's very often that they'll push in from this way as well as kind of encircling it around. From the Allies' perspective, they are probably going to want to build their garrison here. Obviously we can see that this line is the edge of the sector here for the second point, so they're going to be wanting to probably build a garrison just inside of that. Garrisons placed within your own friendly sector, they only get proximity spawn blocked by 10 meters. If you build it slightly into an enemy sector, if this is captured by the enemy, then of course they have a 100 meter spawn block radius, so definitely beneficial to build them in that kind of sector, and of course constrained as always on FOY by the geography. These buildings here, as I mentioned before, very powerful. On Eastern Orth, very kind of tricky routes of approach. You'll get, well, let's draw it in blue so we can kind of signify that it would be the Axis probably coming in this way. Very likely to try and get something in here and come in this way as well, to get the flank on if it gets to Eastern North, and N30 Highway and West Bend on the other side. West Bend, of course, very kind of hotly contested, because you kind of end up with this like funnel down the road, and you know, this area here just ends up in an absolute bloodbath. You can also get a lot of fighting like down into the sides here, and it's actually for the Allies a very good strategy to try and take this road, secure these buildings here, and then push people out this way. There's this little barn here as well, which can also provide some cover for the Axis especially, but if the Allies are able to secure it, then it can cause a lot of problems, because often the Axis are going to want to, oops, let's change my colour, they're going to want to build, you know, their garrison kind of in this area and reinforce it if that is the central point. On the other side, on Dugout Barn, the train tracks always very, very important down here and these buildings, as well as on this side, these kind of routes down this way, although this is actually, I was running it today, and this, I'm not sure this map's quite right, because this, I ran onto the train track here and it took me off the map, which is new to me, so not sure if the map is entirely accurate here, whether they've slightly made a change or what was going on there. Maybe it was back here, I forget, but still, the railway is very, very important, and these kind of areas here, like, you know, as we've mentioned before, there are very few in some ways places to kind of go on this map, and that oftentimes leads to, well, bloodbaths, as I mentioned, on West Bend, and very difficult encounters sometimes, but also quite predictable garrison placement and stuff, because obviously you're going to want to kind of keep close to the edge of your own sector, or you know, build it somewhere that's near enough to the strong point to be kind of useful. But let's turn that off there. But then on the Axis side, over at FOY, at Flak Battery and Corby Factory, or Cobry Factory, my mistake. Cobry Factory, very, very difficult to, personally I find it like a really bit of a pain in the bum kind of point, because it's got so many routes of approach, you know, especially if the Axis in red here are able to kind of get in through the village, get in around the side, cause all sorts of problems. They can even come down from West Bend and come in this way, so it can be a real nightmare for the Germans, and they're not going to want to be defending that one. Flak Battery 2 has lots and lots of routes of approach. This is where it starts to get like more kind of more tricky, like around the village. It gets like more built up. Oftentimes, like, they can come through this forest here. Can be quite hard. So the Axis are going to want to kind of try and keep it to the middle points. They've got a slight advantage / disadvantage on West Bend. It is an advantage because they're closer to the edge here, as you can see, so it's like quicker for them to get people in. As I mentioned before, this line, so if you build your garrison here, obviously you can just like run straight in very easily, whereas, you know, if they've got a garrison back here, the Axis, I should have changed my colours, but, you know, they've got an absolute mission to run here. However, that being said, if the Allies, excuse me, can take or fill up these squares, obviously, with their guys, then they are providing capping power in areas that aren't, you know, this is much more covered and less of a bloodbath than the middle of West Bend oftentimes. Mentioned the Finns Let Loose have 2 tanking squads, and we've got a Dundee tank squad as well, I believe. Tanking's going to be very, very important on this map as always. Obviously in this update they have kind of improved the Tiger, so much more competitive, hopefully, and, you know, we should see that come into play. Recon tanks also really good on this map, because if you can get around the back quickly, then you can do a lot of damage, especially to these kind of predictable infantry routes. But again, with the predictable infantry routes, we are going to see lots of artillery, so kind of a classic setup really here on FOY. Let me just check and see if we're in the game yet. I know that people were... Oh, I was kicked from the server. Love that. I know that people were in the briefing already. Let me just rejoin the server, and we will get into it. I think they should be in the game now. Generally try to kind of catch it after about a minute or so, just to avoid like the setup, because I don't know, like, some people bring their strats to try them out for comp and stuff, so sometimes it's not like ideal to capture everybody's like starting strats on the thing there. But okay, let's have a little look here. Oops, that's the password, not the name of the server. Server 2, let's do it. So, bit of a gamble here. I'm not sure if they started. If I join on the Axis, hopefully they've restarted the server already. Oh, okay, and so the game has crashed, which is awesome. So it's really going well today. Um, you know, wouldn't be a stream if we didn't have like a million things go wrong, would it? Okay, let's try again. Oh, gotta wait for the game to stop now. I should say massive thank you to everybody who followed from the last episode, let's call it, or the last week's game. I don't have everybody's names because a bunch of people thankfully followed as well after the recapping yesterday, so they kind of dropped off the end of the list. But your support is very much appreciated. I don't always get a chance to say hello or engage or say thank you, especially for people who follow, people who subscribe when the game is going because of the 15-minute delay. But your support is very much appreciated. I have been here doing this week on week now for, I don't know, 6 months or something. So I'm very happy to do it. I'm very glad that you guys have continued to kind of support me to do it, and that I'm hopefully doing an okay job for you. If you have any feedback, obviously, please kind of contact me or leave it in the chat. Especially like live feedback, like if the mic's off or like if I've forgotten some setting or something like that, then please do let me know. Hopefully the settings should be all good because I basically only cast, as I mentioned, although I did jump on the game earlier. So there is the potential that I may have like changed something just to make it a bit more playable for myself, especially in terms of graphic settings or something. I'm very lucky to have quite a good PC nowadays. When I first started this, I didn't. But it does mean that the high level graphic settings that I use for the stream here, they can kind of make it a little bit difficult sometimes to like, especially with like the lighting settings. I get like a lot of glare when I'm actually like running around in the game, and I can make it super hard to see. So let me know if there's anything wrong with it and if I've like turned anything off. But we'll try and jump in again here. I'm sure they will have started by now. So I believe this is the password. If the game crashes out halfway through, I apologise. I don't know what's going on with it. It did crash earlier as well, which is a little bit concerning, especially with the seasonal coming up. I'm just going to check on my kind of authorized changes or something like that to make sure that I haven't, like missed any thing that could cause a problem here, and be like blocking it. Sorry about the noises here. Should be okay. I mean, this is all other stuff that I'm just making sure it's not, interfering with it in any way. Just me trying to reinstall the same thing over and over. Oh, okay, sweet. So, we have another game crash, which is very bad. So, I assure you this doesn't normally happen. But like I said, it has happened a couple of times just recently. I don't know if they changed something in the game. I haven't changed anything on my machine or my setup, so we'll see. I will have another go. It could be that there's just like a setting in the game, so I'll have a quick look at that as soon as we load in before I try and jump into the server. But it seems to be every time I join this or try and rejoin the server after I got kicked for being idle, which is a bit annoying. It just crashes out, so we'll see. Let's have a little look. So let me just change some of my settings here. Maybe if I kind of turn some stuff down, it might have something to do with it. I don't know. It seems unlikely, but let's give it a try and try and rejoin just now. If it does keep causing issues here, I can try and jump onto my other machine, although I'd really rather not. Hopefully this works. Obviously I'm going to be like missing the start of the game for you guys as well, which is a bit annoying, but that is what it is. As I said, sometimes there are just problems with these things and they can't be helped, so I'm trying to load back into the game now. Done the password for like the 100th time at this point. I actually remember what it is. Let's have a little look who's on what team. So okay, let's join on the Axis because we have started here. I will quickly create my unit, jump in and get on the admin cam for you guys. So I can tell you that it's Dugout Barn as a central point. We'll get up in the sky in a second, have a look on the map. And it has already fallen to the Axis, so if I just jump up into the air, hopefully you should be able to see the map now and this beautiful, beautiful FOY. So I guess it was like something to do with my like SSAO or something like that, because I've changed the graphic settings and it seems to have let me in, but it might crash again, so you never know. But just looking over here, don't worry about the ping, nobody else can see it, at Dugout Barn. We've got about 8 minutes into the game, so I'm sorry for missing the little bit of the start there, but it is what it is. As I said before, let me just double check that everything's working here on the stream. Yes, it looks like it is, except we've kind of got a bit switched around with our little thumbnail things here. So let me just make it clear for you guys who's on what team. Oops. So we've got, you see up the top there, the blues are the Axis, of course, and the Allies in red. Lots and lots of infantry markers all down here, so they've kind of identified correctly exactly where the Allies are coming from here at Dugout Barn. And you can see below us, so obviously the map was kind of upside down from our perspective before, but this railway track, these kind of barns here, they have actually put the garrison just below us behind one of these barns. This back garrison, and there's another one kind of behind us as well. As I mentioned before, like quite common spots for garrisons to be around here. Dropping some more supplies behind us as well. I noticed that there's a little contingent here of allies. We'll keep an eye on them as well. Got all the nameplates up, so hopefully you can see. If there's any kind of problems on the stream, do let me know. But the tank just getting absolutely smashed there. Not sure if they've built an AT gun in here. Yes, they have. That is below us just here. Quicknicks from DC. Massive shout out to Quicknicks. Fantastic player and really great guy. Ooh, curse of the commentator again. Absolutely destroyed there by the artillery. As I said before, artillery is so powerful on this map. Taking out that field gun actually, and the smoke, it looks like artillery is falling here as well, supporting this allied attack. Let me make sure that the game's not too loud. It does sound quite loud. Sound effects, let's turn it down a little bit, just to make sure it's not deafening everybody. On the other side, I'm guessing, I can't see their map unfortunately, but I'm guessing they're going to have maybe an OP or garrisons around here. In this kind of area, and certainly back over this way. Again, don't worry, nobody can see my ping, it's literally just me. It's just so like we can see. Didn't seem to ping, so yeah, down over in this way somewhere. They probably got garrisons over here. This is like east and north, and trying to get round again. They've also built an artillery gun, or not an artillery gun, sorry, an anti-tank gun over here too. And very fierce fighting happening below us on Dugout Barn. I can hear that machine gun just rattling off. Looking out at the wider view on the map, you can see that they've kind of got some defensive garrisons put up. There's one back at FOY. Nothing in terms of back garrisons around FOY though, so definitely in their interest to kind of be keeping Dugout Barn. They've also got nothing out here on the flank. So we might see some plays from the Allies, not that they can see that obviously, but we might see some plays from the Allies out wide on the right hand side here. And as you can see, they are quite spread out, some of the Allies, and kind of moving out and around the back of the point, trying to get that flank going on. Just getting text messages and stuff, you know how it is. So, have a little look at this map. You can see the garrison below us is actually pinged. So, those of you who haven't played before, when enemies get within a certain radius of the garrisons, it sometimes changes, but I think just for making it go warm, it's like 25 meters or something like that, 50 meters. But then to actually spawn block it when it's in blue territory is 10 meters. I know that because I tried it personally the other day. Ooh, damn. Believe that was the Allies. Yeah, that was a little Allied recon vehicle. As I said before, recon vehicles utilised often on this map in order to get around the back and try and attack some of these kind of classic spawn point locations, classic locations for infantry movement, and also of course to try and get around the back of any tanks that might be in play. In terms of tanks for the Axis here, there is this heavy tank right below us. As you can see, the Tiger has come out to play. I haven't seen one yet, but the 76 should be in the game already for the Allies. This is a friendly, so an Axis recon plane just flying over the top that you can hear, and a good recon plane. They're identifying a lot of these enemies out here, so they do know. I mean, they knew anyway, I guess, because of these. Some of the markets were down anyway, but they know where they're coming from. Let me try and get the marking right, so you can see both. You should be able to see highlighting on both of these now. Nice. Dundee recruit. Flood of something. Let's have a little look. Oh no, let's not have a little look. I hear the bombing run. Oh, right down the line. Oh my god. Ooh. Ouch. Looks like they're still spawning in there though. That's a DC squad, as I mentioned before, really good shooters, so good idea to keep them off the point for now. However, that didn't take out the OP, so they are going to still be pushing from that direction. The bombing run, very powerful, but you know, does have somewhat limited use when it comes to that sort of thing. So looks like Mox is below us, or Imox just took out the garrison, but Serious from DC not standing for that at all. Big shout out to Serious. Had him on the stream before when he was playing Commander. Oh yeah, Commander. Let's have a little look who's playing. So Tumainen is from Fin Let Loose today. They changed it on the thing very conveniently for us on the admin cam, so that I can't actually see who's commanding on the other side. But I think we said it was the PBS. What's his name? Let's go see where he is. Wow, they're really out wide here. You can see we're like below Bazori FOY Road. They're kind of trying to defend, I guess, taking out the Allied supply truck there with a machine gun. And Vistic is probably having some good shots on them over here. They're pretty obvious where they are. I mean, especially after they just destroyed that truck. Where is the Allied commander? Where are you at? Can't see absolutely everyone on the map. So, Isuk trying to get towards their artillery here, and actually this tank squad here. Let's have a little follow of these guys. Oof! Okay, so this is not what you want when you're just waiting to get into your tank. Oh my god, that was brutal. And he's in a great spot now to get some shots on this 76. However, he's going to have to get behind it because that armor is so strong. That hurt it. Okay, well he's in a great position here. Just got to watch out for people. Yeah, Mr. Bombastic. There you go. People spawning in, but this Dundee guy with his little pistol ain't going to do much. Bofrost just trying to take some shots with the rifle. Could really do with killing some of these tank squads before they get in there and start to turn that turret around, because it's not going to go well for them if they don't. And they are in there now. The tank has come alive, and this squad has got themselves in a bit of a sticky spot on the tree. Oh dear. Oh dear. And oh my god. I thought that was going to be it for them for sure. Nice little play actually there to try and get out of the way, get turned around and stuff. Needs to get out of there though, of course. I'm not sure if they're... Oh, going to get shot from the side by Christian over here from SCDB. He's not standing for it. Let's get back over to the point here. Below us you can see Bazori FOY Road, pretty well defended by the Allies at the moment, although we've got Axis squads moving in here. Fin Let Loose squad over here, led by Lottakas. That's not his full name. Let's have a little look. So, Lotkasi. There you go, sorry. Really interested to see how the Fins Let Loose guys play. They've been doing ever so well in the tournament. I'm kind of rooting for them a little bit. They're my, you know, my little outside favourites for the tournament. I really want to see them stay in and do quite well. You know, I'm not sure if they've got what it takes to get right to the end, but we'll see. And here's hoping. Okay, so who have we got below us on the artillery? Just the one guy. So Fin Let Loose again. So we mentioned it before at the start. So Penty is, I think, just a one-man squad there on artillery. Let's just double check. Yep, he's just by himself, but he's level 168. He knows what he's doing. Okay, let's zip back over to Dugout Barn then. Looking at the garrisons, they did have one back here, but that's gone. We saw the other one get taken out here in EFGH4, but it hasn't been. Oh, sorry, it has been replaced now. DC Serious obviously did the job of defending it before over here. Worst Guitarist, I guess, knows where it is. Whew, not sure where that came from. Have they managed to get another gun up? Not sure, hard to tell. The recon plane just going over in a second. Again, just that kind of diagonal recon plane, trying to identify exactly where they're coming from. Might see another bombing run, unlikely at this point in the game. Two Shermans already killed with the AT guns up there, says OC Quicknicks. We saw him kill one before, I believe. And there goes the AT gun that they were on over there. Einhorn and Ziegeli somehow surviving that. Let's have a little look for these tank markers. I don't see a tank there, but they are shooting at them. There's an AT gun placed over here. AT guns, of course, incredibly powerful in this update. They have improved the damage characteristics of them. Oh my. Bombing run right on the point there, but will it kill anyone? No. I don't think that killed a single person, so unfortunately for the Allies, they're a bit of an ineffective bombing run. Some smoke artillery landing there. Still see Quicknicks and his guys over here. Ionics Ranger and Aquilas as well by this AT gun. They're not set up on it just yet, but it is ready to go. Out here on the side, we've got the CC squad, who I mentioned earlier. Big shout out to them. Mistake. We've, I believe, seen him play quite a few times here on Squadline Battle before. Potentially a bunch of these other guys as well. I'm afraid I don't always remember everybody, but certainly doing a good job of kind of defending at the back there. And you know, where you've got these areas on the map that are so predictable, let's say, or like, you know, like it forces, so the map forces enemies to go the long way round. That's good for you in a way, but it also means that you need to defend really deep, because they're going to be coming from really deep, because they have to run all the way around. You know, they're not going to be tempted to take a shortcut, because a shortcut is a death trap across an open field. So good job there from the CC squad out the back. Imox and Worst Guitarist here trying to do what they can on the recon side of things, shooting from the rear. Hopefully this, I think I can hear the sound working over there on the stream. It is live, that's good, always a nice sign, but still haven't caught up with the 15-minute delay, or well, never catch up with the 15-minute delay. Still haven't caught up with the problems we were having at the start, but should be any moment. Oof, this tank getting a little bit slapped about here. So this is an allied tank that we can see below us. Oh no, it isn't. Why is it highlighted in red? It's not highlighted in red, it's highlighted in green, and just got slapped by this AT guy here. Good shot there. That was a Panzer IV down on the railway tracks. The highlighting's supposed to be green for friendlies and red for enemies, but it's kind of like it's red there and then it gets green when you get close. Maybe that's just my... Maybe I'm colourblind. Should I, you know, put it in the chat, what do you think? Should I get a test? Like, there is a colourblind mode, is there, I think. But still struggling here, the Allies, to kind of push in from these directions. The DC squad being held off by SCDB here, which is interesting to see, because both squads, you know, should be good shooters. Nice little rocket attempt there by Wakanda perhaps, but doesn't manage to get anybody there. So Dundee guys now in the firing line, and that's a nice machine gunning there by Marsmick. We've seen him quite a lot on the machine gun, and other positions as well, slapping people about all the time. So, you know, I mentioned before that they are through as well to the next round of the seasonal. I will have to look it up for you, who's actually playing on what game. Let's have a little look what we got. Discord. I'll use my other computer here. Oh, okay, nice. So, can't open it in my browser, please. So, they are playing against UFR, I think, whilst this opens, but I'm not sure what map. I was going to try and tell you what map they're on, but Discord's taken ages to load, of course, because why wouldn't it? Let's have a little look. So, we've got... Talking about some of the squads here, I'll just open the map while I'm looking at it. I saw this just get hot. You know, they are really trying to push around this side, the Allies. Kind of trying to keep an eye on this Fins Let Loose squad. They are getting closer and closer to Bizarre FOY, but getting held off. We'll go and check in on them in a second. Yeah, so this weekend coming up, we've got so many games, 8 games. So we've got 82 AD versus Hell Let Loose Poland, who we've seen below us. Poland coming through the qualifiers, as I mentioned before. 82 AD sitting in wait for the people to come out of the qualifier stage. They were already securely in the main stage. ESPT also were secure in the main stage. They'll be playing 501st Espanyol and Bastardos, who have come through some really, really tough games. I just saw this tank go down here, so or the AT gun that they were just on. Sorry, went down. That was the one we looked at earlier. Then we got Blacklist versus Fins Let Loose, so that should be an absolutely cracking game. Blacklist, you know, they've been in the main stage waiting. You know, they could be very, very powerful, very dominant, or, you know, get crushed by Fins Let Loose. So we'll see. Fins Let Loose won't go out of the tournament if they do lose. I'm sure that's red from above. Like, it's green now, right? But that's red. Come on. You gotta give me that. Then we've got Core versus Team Phoenix. Lots of Core guys obviously playing on the server here. Werner Voss, one of the organisers, is a Core guy as well. Then we've got 116 versus Trirex. So Trirex being very, very dominant in the qualifiers, coming through to play against 116, who came 7th in the previous seasonal. Then we've got SCDB playing against UFR, so UFR, the French team there, versus the Germans in SCDB, so should be a cracking game. UFR, good team, and SCDB storming through the qualifiers as well. Everybody predicted that they would. Kind of a newer team, you know, had to go in the qualifiers because they sort of weren't seeded yet, but everyone predicted they'd do well, and they have, so looking forward to seeing them continue. And then finally we got What the Hell versus Eastern Group. Eastern Group coming through some really, really tough games actually. They had a pretty rough qualifier at times, but they kind of pulled it through and crushed Helly's Hardcore Heroes at the last, you know, in the last game. They 5-0'd them, so came through with flying colours to play against, unfortunately for them, the previous seasonal champions. But whether or not they're still kind of the best team in Hell Let Loose remains to be seen. So do come check out. It's not obviously just myself. There's, well, 8 games, so there'll be 16 different casters covering games this weekend. If you want more in-depth discussion about the games that will be coming up, do check out the video section of my Twitch page here for myself and Known Connection. We did our recapping yesterday. We of course will do it after the weekend as well. If you don't have time to catch up on the games, then come check that out when the time comes on next Monday. For the kind of rundown of all that stuff. But do go and support the other casters. Do check out the games, support the teams, support the tournament and the whole community here. You know, Squadline Battle is like a fantastic place within the Hell Let Loose community, and you know, the seasonal also. They don't sit exactly like next to each other. You know, one is like the very sort of top level competitive, and the other is, as we mentioned right at the start, this kind of like publics, but everybody knows what they're doing, so it's sort of like an in-between, like a bit of a training ground, a bit of a testing ground. We saw, I think it was a Don D recruit, yeah, look, Campert's below us here, Glan, some other recruits below us, Raw Darien, sorry, Flood of, oh yeah, we were going to look him up earlier, weren't we? What was his name? Don D, did I scroll past it already? No. Flood of Colour. That's a great name. Below us. So you can see that it's kind of a bit of a proving ground for people to come into the communities. If you're looking to join, of course, a competitive community, then do go check out the main Hell Let Loose Discord. That I believe you can actually link to through the main Hell Let Loose website, and in that there is a kind of PC communities page where you can basically check out at least all of the main communities. I don't know if that's all of them, probably not. I mean, I'm sure you can see at the bottom, well, it doesn't even say it now on my name for some reason, but, you know, I have my own little thing called LKG that's just sort of like a bit of a, not a meme, but like it's, you know, it's just like a few friends, so it doesn't really count, but like all the main communities are out there, so go have a look. You know, we mentioned lots and lots today, so we've got like DMOS, SCDB, DC, they'll find you. Yeah, it's not the other way around. Then we've got, you know, Don D, they're obviously recruiting here. We've got some Don Ds. Jubei, they're the leader of, literally the leader of DMOS, like the head guy in their clan. We've got HCD over there. We've got, who else do we see? CC somewhere for our Chinese compatriots. Then we've got Hell Let Loose Poland. I'm sure I'm forgetting people. SCDB. Loads of people. So do go check that out. Alright, so we've got just over an hour remaining here. It's kind of been a little bit fixed at the moment around Dugout Barn, and they're doing a great job here, the Axis, of holding off these angles of attack. They're sort of these classic angles, but we are seeing a bit of a movement now here from Jubei and the Demos guys. They've kind of managed to like pierce through, potentially getting all the way to the road. Rodarin is kind of looking the other way at the moment. Bit risky here running across the field, but I guess he's not turning around, so it's fortunate for Jubei at the moment. He probably wants to get to cover and put down an OP or something below us. Of course, this is where that bombing run was so effective before, along that that sort of line there. And as we've said so many times already, that you know, there is this kind of issue on this map where you're sort of stuck to this bit of a grid system, whatever you're doing. I hear 2 recon planes, I believe, going over, so that's one and that's the other, so both teams have reconned. This is another bombing run actually on the point, being a bit more effective this time, but unfortunately for the Allies, not that close to the point to be able to kind of push up and take massive advantage of it. And Marsmic, the one guy they wish they'd killed, and Shah as well here on machine gun in this building, just absolutely laying it down. Not sure if this is the friendly smokes that we're seeing on the road here. If it's allied smokes, it's a little bit short. It's unfortunate for Lao Pet there. Like, it's not bad having smokes in that area, but you kind of want to push them right up into this building, because at the moment they're just kind of having to run through the smokes into machine gun fire. Ideally you want to land the smoke in the building if you can, and stop the machine guns from being able to shoot out, rather than having your guys kind of blindly run into a wall of bullets. But there's no judgment there. I don't know whose artillery it is. It could be very, very good Axis artillery, and this is the Axis bombing run that I can see going over the top here, and much more effective in terms of killing. Really taking out a lot of these guys here. I don't know if that's got their spawn points as well. I think it can take out Gary's. It didn't take out this gun here. You have to let me know in the chat. Like, I lose track with some of the updates. I jumped on earlier, like I said before, and actually played some of the game, which I unfortunately haven't had a chance to do very much of late, but I'm sure they've made a bunch of changes since I last played to some of the guns and things like that. I mean, why is this mute not working? Gotta love that. Okay, welcome though to all the people watching. I can see already we've got quite a few enjoying the game today, so welcome to you. Do drop us a follow, talk to each other in chat. You are live with each other in chat. I say drop us a follow, you have to follow to chat. That's not because I'm like a complete, you know, snide. I'm not just trying to siphon follows, although it's no bad thing. But I've had a massive problem with like bots. So I found that if I put it on follower only chat, then I get way fewer bots like spamming the chat with nonsense about buying, I don't know, subs or something. How do you buy a sub? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, sub to yourself through someone else, like what? Mental. Okay, well, it looks like the Allies are having a little bit more success here, and those smokes definitely are in the buildings now, so perhaps that was the Allied artillery that was dropping before, I'm not sure, and they are losing the dugout barn here, the Axis, although they've got this Panzer IV. If he just turns around to the right and backs, you know, pushes up to the road, that could be in a powerful position, although does need to be careful of some of these guns. This one got blown up before, yeah, it's still blown up, it's not a new one or anything, but there was one back there that we saw, there it is. Which is still up, and a tank over here too somewhere. Difficult to see. Don't have any markers placed on it at the moment, so a little bit tricky to see. Where's this Panzer below us? Did it get blown up already? Oh my god! Oh no, he's there. I was going to say, tank's been really struggling on both sides today. Yeah, it looks like Quicknick's telling people to mark tanks and also questioning where our tanks are. Well, he's been slapping people about with the artillery or the AT guns, the in-place AT guns. So is the other team. So both teams struggling a little bit to get the tanks off the ground. There goes, I think that was the AT gun that they had up before, wasn't it? Getting destroyed over there. It's a little bit hard to catch some of these AT gun kills because, you know, they're just kind of like, it's like a little dot over there basically, and getting shot at, I don't know, by the tank or whether it was an AT gun below us. There is one down below us here, but nobody's on it at the moment. That's just here, so not quite sure. This is a good spot now though for, oh, it could have been this one here. It's a good spot for the tank to be in there, so if he can kind of like push up and actually take out some of the enemies on this area before another tank moves up or before they build another AT gun. Okay, scratch that. Oh no, they're both destroyed. I thought they built two, but no, they're just building them next to each other because that's a powerful position. The tank now laying in some fire if we catch up with them. Oh my god. There's actually Sam inside the barn here, causing all sorts of problems. Don't drive in the barn, are you crazy? Wow, this is an obsession now for Red Sam and his squad to kill this guy. But it looks like maybe did he just redeploy? Oh no, I see massive blood splatter against the wall a second ago, so I don't think he did redeploy. I think he just died. Oh, I got stuck against the wall there. Let me turn on my no clip. Let's get through here. Okay, so yeah, they've kind of really encircled now, and actually these guys here, DC Serious, etc., are getting shot by people real close within grenade range, as we've just seen. This Don D squad kind of moving into the back of Dugout Barn now. You can see that they are doing a good job of capping it. They have been marked, whether that was by the recon tank, I'm not sure, or whether it's the still just from that aerial recon. We're behind as well, looking for spawn points. Not a terrible spot for the tank to be inside the building now. Kind of trying to get some shots. I think he just killed Threepwood below us. But this has served as an adequate distraction out the back here and allowed the Allies to move through into that building that we were checking out before, and the SCDB and DC guys are actually now inside the compound, which is not who you want inside your compound, trust me. And they are moving in. Christian going down to maybe some unfortunate kind of side fire there. I'm not really sure what happened there, whether that was like from the shell or how he died there. But good spots here from the Don D squad on their OPs, keeping the pressure up at Dugout Barn, but not enough to cap it at the moment. On the other hand, there are lots of Axis over here in Bizori FOY Road, so if we go and check this out, we've got the CC squad have managed to move all the way around, along with their Fin Let Loose attacking squad led by Fimis. Have kind of pushed right around here. Fimis going down, Curse of the Commentator again. I'm going to just stop saying people's names at this point because every time I do they die. Threepwood went down a second ago as well, if you remember. But they've done a good job of getting into the point here, but they are going to have a tank to contend with, and also all of these defenders pouring back at them. They weren't able, it seems, to take out the spawn points down the road here, sort of underneath us, where the supplies are dropping. And so they're going to find it difficult. So, mentioned before how there would be probably spawn points in the woods on this location, and sure enough, they've built their garrison up here, far enough away so the garrison, as I said before, when it's in red territory, it's 100 meters to proximity block it, to kind of spawn block it. But yeah, they're they built it far enough away that, you know, they can still spawn in there. And look, that is a huge body of axis here in the woods. I suggest that that tank's not going to last very long with whoever that is behind it just literally spawned in with an AT gun. But the Allies now back inside the strong point, and that's big for them. They're probably putting down the redeploy. Obviously, unfortunately, we can't see their map, but they probably use the redeploy ability there, or the commander has, on the strong point. They are still losing it, however, because there are literally so many axes here. Dugout as well, though, is I can still hear it kicking off over there. But they've kind of managed to keep a lot of them off, because they've realised here, the Allies, that they need to get back and defend, because there's nothing worse than losing like your fourth point, as it were, or your second point, and going 4-1, you know, to really put you on the back foot. So recognising the importance of that and getting back, and they are defending it now, as you can see at the top there. We've got planes going over the top. They're taking our point, boys, says Quicknix. I don't think that's right now. That was probably earlier. It's Quicknix in OC now. Okay, so over here on FOY, you can see that they're also moving around from this area. Interesting garrison placement. You can kind of see they've like strung them out a little bit. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's maximum garries, I believe. Which could be a problem later on if they do cap Missouri FOY Road, because they're going to want to probably remove one of these to build a garry further up. But struggling now a little bit. Done a good job here, the DC and Phalanx. You know, we've got Phalanx on Phalanx over here. Or, excuse me, Fin Let Loose on Fin Let Loose, and the Phalanx guys and DC over on this section. You know, they've done a good job of taking that part back, but Fin Let Loose over here, STDB and Phalanx, sorry, Fin Let Loose in the woods as well, pushing in. On Dugout, it looks like at the moment the pressure is kind of off here for the Axis, proving the axiom the best defense is attack, or best form of defense is attack. They kind of force the or stop the attack from building up any further on Dugout Barn by making it so that everybody had to redeploy and fall back to their point over at Missouri FOY Road, which has bought them some breathing space and a bit of time. They've still got 2 anti-tank guns up and this heavy tank still below us. Moving up the road here. Oh, it's not a heavy tank, it's a Panzer IV. Let's just follow these guys. Almost popping shots here. Starting to amass some players over there. Look, I can actually see sheep over there. So those guys we were looking at before, they're in this section, like G4, G5, and like maybe into F5. This contingent of allies over here. Seems like the tank's just holding the road for the moment, but they are trying to keep their attack going on here. We've got Guybrush Threepwood from Demos, Cheap Shaman, Pixel Smasher, Jubei. All good players here, pushing to the back of Dugout Barn, trying to put that pressure back on, because again, you know, the inverse is true, of course. For the Allies, they're going to want to get their attack going again to try and ease some of the pressure on their point. Still got a number of players in this kind of block of woodland, so like for clarity, the woods are here, this woodland area here, but they've lost the garrison that they had on the infantry, on the defend marker there. I'm afraid I don't know what that means. on the chat. Is that me being dumb? Like, it wouldn't be the first time, certainly won't be the last. But thanks for jumping in the chat. Thanks for the follow. Nice to see you as well, Hyperventilatio. Vaha Kietu Vaha. Yeah. Wow. This man's got pronunciation down. Okay. Getting a bit turned around, but dugout barn getting bombed now. And again, yeah, the Allies kind of trying to remount this attack and doing an okay job. They've got the they are starting to kind of cap, but it's sort of just about being defended. I guess there's a... Oh no, it's because there's a tank in here as well. So every single player that's inside this black circle is worth 3 kind of thing. So like their capping power is like tripled. So they are excuse me, they are more powerful when they're inside the point, but that means it's important for them not to just run out into these buildings which are slightly outside, because that could allow a large number of these allies who are just in the sector surrounding, so these 4 squares here, to actually start to kind of tip the balance and to start to cap it. And we actually saw it just change them for a second. So important, especially for the tank, to probably stay inside the barn area. And as I just literally mentioned, the barn is starting to get lost there. Tank taking one up the backside. Strafing run. Not sure who that is. Okay, so just trying to clear off the garrison. That's just about the only justifiable use for a strafing run at this point in the game. Although, having said that, I died to a strafing run earlier on FOY, because on FOY you have this problem where you're kind of stuck to these, you know, the grid, and so strafing runs are slightly more powerful and a bit more kind of relevant in this map than they are in some of the others. But the cost for the commander in terms of the munitions, not really worth it when you compare it to artillery. If you can get some good artillery shots down, they're cheaper and they're probably more effective. So usually kind of not that much point to these strafing runs, but to clear off a garrison or something like that, or on FOY where you've got these kind of conga lines down the little hedgerows and stuff, they can be pretty effective. Okay, so they've got supplies down again now in G8, back where they had that garrison, or near where they had that garrison before. But whether or not that attack is going to be kind of stalled a little bit by the fact that they're losing dugout barn, and we'll see a big redeploy wave come back to dugout. They have got, of course, this garrison inside, which does give them a bit of leeway. Although this one, wherever it is, over here, is pretty hot from Threepwood. He's probably going to hear it just any second. Yeah, he's seen it already, so good spot from him. They'll know he's here, obviously, but at this point, I think that's a done deal, which puts them in a difficult spot here, the Axis, because they have only got this one garrison. They lost the defensive garrison that they had further down the railway. We saw it before over here by where Imox is, but that's long gone. And yeah, here they are, kind of spawning back. Are they taking it back now? Yes, they are just about taking it back. So they've managed to get like enough people inside the circle there at dugout to tip the balance again. So despite there being, you know, as we can see, like the limits of this sector are like over there on the corner, you know, and over here as well. So all of these reds that we can see here, they are all inside the sector, providing capping power, but each man is only worth 1. Every single of the blues inside this hard point, so not including in these buildings, but there's no one there, they're worth 3. So they've slightly got the balance of power at the moment, but with that artillery shell or grenade or whatever that was just over there, and Imox coming in from the rear, the road being heavily pushed, and now the building's been taken by the DC and SDDB squad here, they're in a sticky spot. They don't have their tank over there as well. We saw it go down over there by the railway, and so not ideal for the Axis here, especially given that they only have this one defensive garry on the next point at FOY, and it's already hot. They are getting pushed about a little bit here, and I suggest that they're going to be kind of against the wire, especially if they lose that garrison. The redeploy is down. The garrison is gone, though. So they are really struggling here, and they might lose it. They're still not winning the cap race, or rather the Allies are winning the cap race over here at Dugout Bar. The Axis kind of getting overpowered a little bit, but with that massive artillery shot just then, that's got to tip the balance a bit, but still not enough. Still getting the cap. If we look up at the chat, Quick Nix's point from about 15 minutes ago is still very relevant. Okay, just about to lose it here, I believe. I'm not sure they have any chance of getting more people in there. They've got no supplies down, nobody in there to build a garrison or anything, so that's them a bit screwed there. And over here at FOY, we've got only worse guitarist, but he is kind of close to the garrison, or at least he was earlier, or somebody was, and they were pinging it. You know, making it hot kind of thing. But they're not. It's not like they're set up for the steamroll here. You know, I was just kind of checking around, seeing if I could see anybody with a squad leader nameplate, like standing next to any supplies or anything like that. Imox is probably our like closest squad leader at this point in terms of the allies. So, sort of still all to play for here over at the point. They've got quite a few OPs up in the sort of back garden area trenches here at Dugout Barn, but not an ideal place to be fighting out of, although it could be worse. But they are pretty well surrounded. Nice job here. I think that was a Quilly's just got two, or Baddie from DC got a couple there in the barn. Christian, decent player, trying to heal just outside the back of the barn, it looks like. And still kind of flushing in from this area, the allies, but I haven't seen whether they've got their garrison down there yet. They're in a bit of an awkward spot, some of these guys here. Still over in the field, they kind of, it's like they pushed in, but now they've kind of pulled back to try and maybe get over to FOY, but now they're sort of stuck in between, and they're not providing capping power on the point, and they were just losing it for a second there, although starting to take it back now. Can't see if they've got any kind of ability on there with the reinforce, but potentially they've been using a reinforce on there as well. So where's that plane gone? Didn't see it, so heard it but couldn't see it. That could well be the supplies coming down for the garrison over here. Come on, render distance, don't fail me now. It's one of the things that I had to turn down to try and get the game to work when it was crashing out earlier before the game. Really concerning about the game crashing, because I really don't want it to do that in the seasonal, so I will have a fiddle about with that. You'll have to bear with me 1 second because I'm just about to sneeze. Oof, okay, I'm back. That was a big one. I think half my lung came out with that one. Alright, well they're doing a good job of actually pushing into the circle here, the Axis, and they are starting to cap it back. Doesn't look like they've got too many things going on over here, the allies over at FOY, although they have managed to get the Gary. Mickmash is the only guy inside the point here, and he's an ally. So tricky one there for the Germans. To Mainen kind of realised obviously that the Gary went down and was running back. I'm going to sneeze again. Okay, false alarm. So still all to play for here then at Dugout, with the allies kind of, you know, they've realised now they need to do a proper job of defending, and they are pushing back from where they were kind of halfway in between. But they need to get these OPs out in the back garden, all of these Axis OPs that are out in the trenches to the left of the building as we're looking at it. And ideally for them, they'd want to get their OPs a lot closer as well. You see they're having to like run all the way in from the garrison or whatever it is back here, or some OPs back there, but they really want to get OPs in these buildings so they can keep that pressure on and clear out the Axis from this this trench area, because at the end of the day, like, this is a weak position for the Axis to be in, and you know, the Allies should be capitalising on that and really crushing them in that area. Kind of pincering round, especially if they've got some tank support. You know, they can get basically tank shots on them from absolutely miles away. So But they are doing a good job there. I'm not sure if that was artillery or what. A nicely placed bombing run could do a lot of damage too, but probably don't have one at this point. Just under 40 minutes remaining, 38 on the clock. It's a 3-2 here for the Allies at the moment. See the DC Don D squads remaining back here for the Allies, having to defend. Lots and lots of Axis guys inside the point. Again, we've got community on community, clan on clan action with DC guys here playing off against each other. Oh my goodness, yeah, it's artillery that's wrecking them out here in the back gardens, and one of the OPs at least is down. I think there were 3 if not 4 out here in the back garden, and you know, that's why artillery is so powerful on this map, because it is just so open. You get yourself in those kind of positions, you think, yes, I'm really nice and close to the point, but pff, yeah, you're also completely open from above, and that's all it takes. More Axis getting killed there as well, so doing a good job now of securing this point, and actually they are capping FOY as well. I'm not sure if that's like a big cap or a bit of a, you know, a soft thing that's going on, but they've certainly got more allies in the area than there are Axis, and whilst they have managed to replace their garrison now on the ping that you can just see there, don't worry to anyone who thinks I'm like pinging stuff for the enemy or whatever, like only I can see the ping, plus that's my friendly Gary. Friendly, but you know, I'm on their team. But it looks like, yes, looks like quite a concerted allied push here, and they're almost halfway on the cap over here at FOY. Kind of realised now with a bunch of Feeling Let Loose and SCDB guys spawning in here at the garrison, whether or not they realise that that's kind of where the garrison is, I don't know. The allies, I mean, whether they know that that's where they are. Pavev over here really going for it on the machine gun, and we're kind of seeing a bit of a replay of what we saw earlier at Bazori FOY Road, where the Allies had to redeploy, and that took the pressure off there, except this time they're a little bit further through the cap race, and these guys are really going to want to stay alive in this circle here, because if they can keep the Axis out, they are in a really good position. The Axis have just kind of decided, no, we need to spawn in absolutely everybody we can at this point to cap it back, even though we're not inside the circle. They've got so many people in the sector underneath us here that I think that's enough to be kind of tipping the balance. But I don't know, of course, where the OPs are here for the SCDB, Laupet and Sanitator something from Dondi, you know, where their OPs are, and like how close they are, whether they can, you know, be kind of spawning inside the point here almost, and keeping the pressure up on the Axis. But it looks like the Axis kind of going down in this area now. Despite having good positions like around it, I think, you know, so many Axis guys have spawned in here that the Allies are going to be struggling from here on out. It looks like they're still struggling a little bit to hold Dugout Barn, and actually the people inside the hard point, it looks like, are still Axis. Why are 2 tanks going to their HQs, says Achtung Panzer. New pro gamer move that I don't know, says Active Panzer. Well, possibly. I mean, we saw how effective it was earlier at trying to take out the tanks before they became a problem. So that could be the play, although it doesn't really, excuse me, it doesn't really help to support the friendly infantry very much. So perhaps that's why he's mentioning it in the chat, because he doesn't feel like too many people are sort of backing up the infantry. Let's go and see over here. So we've got this light tank below us. See my horrible rendering here. Where is it? It's like somewhere. Oh yeah, it's right there. I thought that was one of the parked up ones. Underlux there from SCDB, great player. Unfortunately for him going down, so they just got sick and tired of getting artied, I guess, and so they went up there. You know, there's no recon Oh, there is one recon guy up here. Sorry, Sook. I'll just butcher everyone's name today, it's fine. There is somebody up here, so they are able to kind of put some pressure on the artillery, but perhaps the tanks thought, nah, we'll just go ahead and sort that out once and for all. But it looks like the Allies are struggling a little bit here at Dugout Barn, and although the cap race is on, I think they're going to have to come back. Just looking at the top bars there, the central point is being taken, but so is FOY still. Very, very surprising. Alright, let's get back over to FOY real quick. Oh my god, yeah, okay, there's loads of them. I take it back. They're going to capture FOY at this rate. They are winning the cap race. Don't know if they've got kind of any supplies over here. Obviously you can see the Axis dropping supplies over at Road to Novell. They've kind of realised, oh my goodness, we're about to get capped on. Nothing back there, which is unfortunate for them. I'd suggest that maybe putting a spawn point behind so their spawn doesn't get overrun, as it were, or cancelled, the HQ spawn. But they have lost 4 now, and that's very, very big there for the Allies, taking it to the 4-1. And not at all what I was expecting early on in the game, really. You know, the Axis here had like a really powerful control of the Dugout Barn, but now so many of them are out of position because of pushing so hard on Dugout Barn, that if really quick redeploy, I don't know, like I'm kind of curious to see if we just see like a whole bunch of little red berries spawn in below us. Micmash moving up underneath us. Let's just have a little look. So we are like here in F1. This is like where the camera is. You can kind of see just below us is the artillery guns. Micmash moving up. Whether he's going to try and build a Gary up here, I don't know. They were losing the sector just for a second there. Still on the artillery, trying to attack FOY. This guy in the tank here, Abaddon and the WD-44 guys, trying to attract a bit of attention, maybe be a bit of a distraction. I'm not sure with the horn. Whether that was them or not, I don't really know. Maybe it's... Oh no, look, it's this truck. I was going to say, I didn't think the tanks had a horn. Hilarious. I have played this game before, I swear. Kind of know what I'm talking about. Alright, so Dugout Barn, like, completely out of the game now. FOY is the still the sort of centre of the action. Sorry, I was trying not to like move around so much. I was just trying to get a bit of a view, but FOY over here still definitely the centre of the action. Not quite as it was a moment ago, where the Axis kind of had that spawn, didn't they, inside Dugout Barn, and they were just continually kind of spawning really, really close to the point, keeping that pressure on and trying to cap it continually. But they are kind of spawning out and around outside of the sector, which is helping with their capping power. Who have we got here in this tank? Bit sensitive there on the old thing here, but we've got again the Abaddon tank, WD-44. Because it makes it really sensitive when if I zoom in and out on the tank. Zooming in and out, is the control is the same as the speed control, so when I come off of it I'm like mega quick. So sorry about the seasickness for anybody who's suffering there. SB didn't benefit from the tank support on that one, did he? Looking at the garrison game here, it's still a rough position for the Axis to be in, with only the one garrison from the 8 that they had up earlier in the game. Not great for them. Oh no, they have got this one up here in E4, but it's currently spawn blocked at the top of FOY. Go check that one out right now. Okay, so it's gone the other way now. I'm really slow. But that's over here below us. As you can see, those guys just spawned in on it, bubbles, etc. I think that was the support truck that was next to it that was there for building the thing. Oh no, infantry transport truck. So a little check in with this Allied Fin Let Loose tank squad. Curious, you know, the tanks aren't up here anymore for the Axis. Now, is this going to be the down the road tank battle that we've been hoping for? Yes. Boom! Boom! Well, they wrecked them. They wrecked them. That was a great shot. And helping to really secure FOY now. You know, I think we can safely say, can't we, that this is Allied controlled territory now. That set them up nicely for a final push if they wanted to, over on road to Noville. I always say it wrong. Not as wrong as I always say Kobaru Factory. I don't know why Korabu Factory is in my head, but it gets said. Okay, so we have got some guys pushing up here from the Allies in the woods, but at the moment it looks like the Axis have kind of decided, no, we're going to fall back, really get the defence going on road, and kind of push out from there. Stop messing around and getting flanked on all the time, and like actually just clear out all the relevant areas and kind of go slow. But they're going to have to be quick if they want to get back to a 4-2 or even you know, a more advantageous position than that, because they've only got 26 minutes left on a clock, which is long enough, but it's not ages. So they're going to have to be really quick. They got some guys moving up. We can see below us in D3, G and H squad over here. So I kind of move in on this flank towards FOY. So that's Fins Let Loose and CC as well, who we saw earlier fighting on Bazori FOY Road. They've got Bubbles from SCDB and his squad out the back of FOY. They've also got Serious and the DC squad over here, and Hajja from Morello's Hell Let Loose Poland squad out here on the flank as well. So they are kind of surrounding FOY, but as we saw a moment ago, FOY is pretty overrun, it looks like, by the Allies at the moment, so probably not in any real risk. See this little tank moving below us. That is this recon vehicle here. If there's anything in particular you would like me to focus on as well, if you're in the chat, then do just let me know. Any questions or anything, I will do my best to answer. If not, I'll just pretend that I know and make it up. Then, you know, you can complain about me to your friends. That's what I do. So FOY is, as I mentioned before, pretty well controlled, but it looks like kind of they've sort of pushed out. That's Kobaru Factory here, and I think I said it right. And the Axis are trying to set up there for a bit of a push. You see Tumainen sort of decided this is where he needs to be. And as I said before, this G and H squad, so the Fins Let Loose and the CC boys over here, kind of pushing in from this side. They've got a long old way to go. This is what I was saying before at the beginning of the game, why Cobra is really annoying, because as the Axis, you know, you kind of not got that many approaches, but like for the Allies here, like, you know, they've got this whole area to hide in. They can move up from many different angles, and you know, conversely, it is also a difficult push there for the Axis to try and get into FOY from that angle. Although, where else do they choose? Recon plane going over the top here, highlighting some of the people over at FOY. Kind of clear. They can see it's kind of clear over at road, which is good for them, obviously. But they are mounting this attack, the Allies, that's kind of going towards it. from the, well, how's the map orientated? Sometimes they're not always quite right, but coming in from the south here, pushing north towards the road to Noville. Allies securing the buildings over there, and we could be coming to kind of the end of the game if they manage to get especially some tank support here. This is going to be very difficult for the Axis to defend. These guys out here, Captain Dirge, Big L, etc. Shout out to Big L, great player. Captain Dirge too, to be fair, but they're out in this kind of this awkward little, you know, clump of trees that doesn't give them the best route of retreat or anything like that. You know, they can't kind of push out of there terribly easily, but they might be able to get some good angles with a machine gun or something like that. But it's not a great point for the Axis here to be defending, and especially did I say about tank support? Who am I seeing shooting over here? Oh no, okay, that's them getting shot at. Where is that? Wait, is it? Or have they got an AT gun? It's quite difficult to see. That could be this recon vehicle back here. Although they seem to have... No, they're over this way. Recon vehicle's there. Ah, it could have been them. Could have been them. I'm sure I hear another tank just here. Unfortunately, as I've said several times now, we can't see the garrisons for the Allies, but they've obviously got some positions set up in the buildings over here at Charlie Outpost marker, and I guess down the road there as well. What was that? That just went down below us. That AT gun, right? Okay. That must have been what was shooting at these guys then, and I'm guessing the recon vehicle just shot the AT gun. Or another AT gun somewhere else shot the AT gun. So many AT guns now in this version of the game. It's crazy. They're so powerful. And they only take 50 supplies to build, which is... I mean, that makes them so strong. I don't know what the team limit is. If somebody in chat knows what the team limit for AT, you know, the built guns is, then please let me know. I'm definitely curious about that. But with 20 minutes here, we're still in this 4-1, and it's still not looking good around FOY for the Axis. They're kind of still got those surrounding positions, but they're just not being able to push in. It's definitely very tricky for them because they want to get that attack on, so they can ease up on the defence here and get some of their guys forward. But this is a sea of red over here at FOY, making it very difficult for them. Yes, they are coming up here in force through Cobra Factory, but Satiri and the Phalanx guys over here, Panos, etc., they are kind of pushing up against them, and they're going to get there first actually, and that's going to make it even harder for them because getting stuck over in this horrible kind of trench area here is not at all where you want to be. With, you know, if they set up a machine gun kind of up here or through the woods, especially if they get again some tank support. Unfortunately, I can't see the map, so I don't know where their tanks are exactly. I might try and get like a second PC set up so I can have them both playing at the same time. We have had that once before, a couple of times before, but then other people started streaming on the other team, and so it all kind of fell by the wayside. But if that's something that you'd like to see, with either the two maps showing, which is a bit more complicated again, but just me having the other map, that's something that has happened before and could possibly happen again. My laptop just about handles this game. Managed to stream last week's Squad Line Battle, which is still up. If you want to watch last week's, that's still up on the channel. I managed to stream that off the laptop from my hotel room out in Liverpool, where I was staying for work. So, you know, we try and stay committed here for you guys. But I think the quality somewhat questionable. Hopefully it's okay for you guys today. Seems like quite a few people sticking around in the chat or in the channel, so hopefully that means that all the sound and everything's working alright. It's a bit difficult for me to hear from my end, because if I kind of alt tab and do stuff like that, then I stop hearing certain elements of it, so makes it a bit tricky. But looks like dropping smokes here in the point, but normally you drop smokes to assist with a push. Abandon's given up. He's abandoned tanking. Normally you drop the smokes to kind of assist with a push, but there's nobody here to back up that push at the moment. Risky play here with the troop transport truck. I'd like to see who's in here. Oh yeah, jump in, boys. Jump into the death trap, boys. Right, let's follow this, because this can only go badly. Oh my. Yes. Ambitious here from Mystique. But I think fair to say that's not going to happen in the transport truck. Kind of a crazy play there, but you got to respect it. Over here at Road to Noville, this OP is hot over on Papa's OP. Not that it's called Papa, but yeah, like I said before, if they could get tank support up here, very, very strong for them. Let's have a little look here. Oh my god, there goes an AT gun or something else inside the point, and here it is. The cap's on. We've seen they've kind of been amassing forces behind us here, and that means that they've got a lot of infantry support, and this is the way to play tanks, with the infantry support. Although here comes the bombing run. Yikes, doesn't kill the tank. Yes, it does kill the tank. Yes, it does kill the tank, which is pretty nice bombing run there. Or somebody else killed the tank at least. It is down, and that's massive there for their axis in terms of defense. And I guess that's the benefit here. You see two maintenance right here, so that's the benefit of the commander actually seeing the exact place they want to place the bombing run. Sometimes you see commanders like hiding, not so much in this, but they hide back in you know, in squad line battle, but in pubs definitely they'll like hide back in the HQ, and they either kind of there's like 3 levels, you know, that meme where it's like the brain slowly starting to like get bigger and bigger, and then it's like ascended to like full genius mode. You know, you kind of get the bombing run from the commander that's back at the HQ spawn, who's not even looking at the map. Then you get the one from the guys looking at the map and looking at some of the markers on the map, but they're almost all out of date. Then you get the one who's following up a recon plane. Then you get the one who's actually like seen it on the ground, with like his brain exploding, you know, because there's nothing like being able to actually mark your targets. Although good communication will also help there too, but the Axis as well manages to capitalise on that bombing run quite effectively here and clearing out this area, which has been such a pain in the arse for them basically this whole time, which might actually allow them to get out of Road to Noville, which they really need to do with 15 minutes left on the clock. It's not where they want to be. They're still struggling a little bit over here at Cobrew Factory. Abaddon is like a one-man bait over here, literally drawing in several players, but Wakanda puts him down quick fashion there. Recon plane going over the top, as we mentioned before. The commander able to see the bombing run trajectory, so didn't need the recon plane for that, but he's going to use the recon plane now to help with the attack, which is pretty sensible. Also with the diagonal trajectory of the plane there, highlighting some of the potential attackers at Road to Noville, and actually you can see now on the Papa, is it? How do you say it on this one? Forgotten. Prep, of course. On prep marker, infantry there, excuse me, quite far away, which kind of means that they're unlikely to, you know, they're probably going to think, yeah, we can push out a little bit now, especially with some tank support here as well from the Thin Let Loose tank squad over here. But they really need this. This is, you know, all their eggs are in this one basket really here, the Axis, and so they're going to need to support this in some way, shape or form. They've used the recon plane to highlight some of the enemy players, but if they could get some smokes out in between Cobrew and the town to allow their guys to move up, then that would be big brain. I see smokes literally landing below us, and How marker indicating that smokes are intended. Don D guys though here, Kent, Brow and Ronan have found the Gary, or found this OP. Nice kills there from Pinoja. Saving their OP there, which is kind of important. The Gary's literally like right next to it over here on the ping. So that could have been very bad for them, but the Axis actually managing to almost push right up to Cobra Factory proper now. They're out in the road. Mystique getting some kills, but goes down himself. Excuse me, it's getting a bit late. But he goes down himself, which again, you know, I should just stop calling people out because every time I say their name they get shot. Maybe it's just how let loose. Everybody gets shot all the time. Don't beat myself up, right? Thanks, chat. I know you'd have my back. Alright, so 12 minutes remaining. They've got it all to do here, the Axis, if they're ever going to have any kind of chance of getting towards dugout. It doesn't look like they're exactly planning dugout. They've got this Gary up, but like, you know, I'd expect to see supplies further up or something. Okay, they've got these ones here, but and out here, but like nobody's like especially close to be able to place anything in kind of running range. Obviously, each one of these is like 200 meters, so that takes a couple of minutes basically to run across. Not quite as long as that, but like, especially with where they slowed the running speed down some updates ago, it is a bit of a slog to run the whole sector. So without somebody kind of ready and waiting by the supplies and ready to get the kind of the steamroll on, it does take time, and time is not what they have here, the Axis. 11 minutes left on the clock. Sort of like counting it down minute by minute at this point because it's quite tense. Cobra Factory still the kind of vector of the attack here, but it's just not happening for them. And actually, I noticed some infantry markers. That's dugout. I keep doing that over here at road. I think they're just here. Yep. So still having to keep guys back to defend, because they're still under pressure, and that's good play from the Allies here to keep them under that pressure. Okay, they lost their position down in these buildings and the compound below us, but they've still managed to keep this one and keep some pressure on, keep the defenders having to stay back. A bunch of these guys seemingly kind of stuck up in this area, which is not where they want to be at all. They either want to be kind of really clearing out in defense or helping with this attack with just 10 minutes left on the clock. They're going to need to kind of all or nothing at some point and put everybody on the attack if that's the plan, you know, if they want to get forward and get this attack happening. But, you know, these guys out in the open field coming up against a DC squad, I don't fancy their chances. Wakanda, Elwa here, both excellent shooters, going to probably slap these guys about a bit. Wakanda back on the rocket. Just being mean. Yeah. We're kind of trying to bully Fimis there, but misses with the rocket. I think he got him with the rifle anyway, if that wasn't Jubei. Marsmick, who we saw on a machine gun earlier, I think he wishes he had his machine gun now. Just got his trusty carabiner up against Wakanda now. Takes him out, but Jubei's up in his back. He knows he's there and he takes him out too. Great shooting. Sam's the last guy on his flank. Does he know he's there? Quite possibly. He's getting shot by a tank now though, and can't argue with that. Marsmick goes down at the last minute to the tank. 9 on the clock. Hear the bombing run going out. That is supporting an attack actually over here. Doesn't kill as many people as they might hope, but they're still pushing really hard here for the 5-0, which you got to respect. The Allies pushing right up to Rotonoville now. To Main, and the Axis commander is probably thinking, this isn't great. Hey Zaki. Oh no, hey Lexus, feeling it loose Zaki. Just like saw out the corner of my eye. Thanks for the follow. Zaki fanboy. I'm a Marsmick fanboy after that just a minute ago. Obviously we're like 15 minutes off from each other, but Nice OP, keeping the pressure up. You know, we've talked about that before, keeping those OPs close on the attack, trying to not have your guys like run in kind of one at a time, and it allows them to all push together and keep that kind of pressure on. You know, capitalize on any kills that you do get, keep the line moving forward. And they've done a great job here, the Allies, all game of keeping the pressure up. I think that's what they've done. They have done well. But then both teams, you know, when we were watching on Dugout Barn as well, we saw it with the Axis. They were just literally relentless on pushing. And actually, in some ways, that's probably what cost them FOY, because they were so relentless trying to push up. They couldn't manage to get the guys back in time to be able to successfully defend. And it's kind of put them in this awkward spot for a little while now, hasn't it, with Road to Noville being pretty hotly contested, and FOY being an impenetrable fortress at the moment. This whole area has now been cleared out of Axis. They've lost their garrison underneath us, and I think that's probably all she wrote for them. With 7 minutes on the clock, stranger things have happened at sea, but I think they might be thinking, morale-wise, the same thing as me at this point. Just try and get some kills or whatever. Finish it out in style. We were talking yesterday on the spring seasonal recapping about how awesome it would be if you could get satchels and put them on your own truck and drive that as like some sort of crazy kamikaze vehicle, and that would be the kind of play that we'd see right now. I'm glad they don't have it like that, because I think that would be just ridiculous. And obviously not really historically accurate, but it would be kind of fun. Just saying, you know, if you do like a special event, How Let Loose organisers and devs, you know, just saying, could be fun, especially on this new map. So what do you guys think about the new map that's coming out? I do wonder, when I look at it, if the devs have ever played this game before in their lives, because how is anybody going to play that map? So it's two sides of a river with one bridge, a rail bridge that crosses over the top, and a strong point in the middle of the bridge, and no other way to cross the river. So yeah, not sure what's going to happen there. You know, if you thought Purple Heart Lane was a grind, you ain't seen nothing yet. If you thought Stalingrad was there, you know, pièce de résistance of making you throw your mouse at the wall, then you know, you should have been more grateful, shouldn't you? I guess, because that is going to be an absolute nightmare. Hopefully, it's in time for the final of the seasonal, and they play the final match on the insane bridge map. But I doubt that that's going to happen. To be honest, I think probably going to be the most hated map in the game. Just putting it out there, but we'll see. I just, you know, okay, maybe there's like ways to get like under the bridge and stuff. There's like, you know, catwalks and things under the bridge, but still, like, just one bridge to cross this massive river and then like a bunch of points on either side. Like, what? That's mad. You know, how you... I don't know. Like, we'll see what happens, but to me it just seems like anybody who's played this game and understands how like the map control dynamics work has to look at that map and think, what? Alright, 4 minutes left. It's definitely not going to happen at this point. You know, they've potentially got 30 seconds to take back FOY, but as you can see from the map here in the FOY sector, there is one... Okay, there are no Axis players there. Dog Squad leader going down. There is the tank, like, right up there. The bombing run just, you know, to... I don't know, stick it to them, I guess. Let's go and catch up with that real quick, but there's not... I don't know how many people it's going to kill. A few. But, you know, what's it achieving? Not a lot. All smoked out there at the point, but nobody to back it up. Loads and loads of allies as well moving into this area. And the Axis being completely forced back to Road to Noville. Effectively, you know, okay, they've got some guys out at the HQ spawn in the centre. Well, the artillery, they've got some more guys here. Excuse me. This is their attack. You know, this is the last ditch effort. They could bring it back to a 3-2 at this point. you know, just to save some face, but right now I'm not convinced by it. As we saw a second ago, there were still a lot of players over in FOY. I'd say this is probably the most interesting thing that's going to be happening at the end of the game here with this big push that they're putting in, but they're having to run across the field. Einhorn goes down. I was going to say probably going to get quite a few kills here, but they know they're here, I guess. And you see all the allies running back this way. They've got tank support. This is going to be an absolute mess for the Axis out in the field here. Okay, they've got some artillery support, and that's a nice little... I don't know if that was the artillery that just took out a vehicle over there, but... they know what they're up against. 2 minutes 40 on the clock. Takes 2 minutes to cap a point. Not seeing the other one get capped either, though. Got about 20 seconds, realistically. This is the Axis tank, is it? No. Don't know who was just firing then. I'm confused. Oh my. Oh no, it's these guys. They've pushed through now. And they're going to have shots on a bunch of these guys here. Oh yeah. Okay, so we're in the last 2 minutes. Nobody's capping anything, so I think that's probably all she wrote here. So before everybody kind of leaves at the end to go to their briefings or whatever, we'll just have a little run through some of the scores. Big thanks to both the commanders today. I don't think we are going to manage to get them in the chat. I kind of... well, I don't even know who the commander actually... oh yeah, no, we do know who the commander is, don't we? It's PBS Mr. Bombastic, but I haven't got any like connection yet to him or anything like that, so that would probably take too long at the end of the stream, but hopefully next week we'll have named commanders before we go in on both teams, and then we'll be able to set it all up again, because that was a good thing to have the commanders come in and talk about it before the game, or after the game, rather, because they obviously talk to their teams before the game. But we'll run through the scores. Stop talking in the chat, you're getting in the way. AWOL squad, you know, we said before the game that DC are absolute savages when it comes to killing, and we saw Quicknix laying waste with the new AT gun meta. Marsmick, he's my man of the match at the moment for the Axis. Absolutely slapped about a bunch of them with the machine gun, and you know, we saw him get some good rifle kills as well. Into the last 30 seconds here, we've seen Bubbles squad do really well. I'll just scroll through everyone so you can kind of see. We'll have a little look at the end as well though, see who stands out. We've got this WD-44, they were in the tank before. Don D playing well with a bunch of their new recruits, so they got some good ones there maybe. Hello Loose Poland putting in work, as well as the I think it's an ex-tank crew here from Fins Let Loose. Now we can see on the other team, it's funny, it like zooms in and out, you can see that. But Mr. Bombastic with a bunch of bombing kills there, only a couple more though than Tumainen on the other team. And then we've got DC squad again over here. We saw Wakanda absolutely cleaning up earlier. I guess he's got quite a few tank kills, probably on some of the AT guns that we saw him placed. Good tank in there from the Fin Let Loose tank squad. I think that's their kind of attacking tank squad, and we've seen them play really well throughout the season so far. We also saw some defensive tanking, some interesting defensive tanking, trying to take out the recon before in a confusing, I say confusing in air quotes, new meta, confusing for the Axis on the chat. Then we've got Fox Squad played well. The guys from Phalanx also, as always, played well. No Let Loose Italia, they came, you know, brought some good players. Love Squad, nice in the tank from Don D. We've got Mike and Able Squad here with Don D again, and SCDB with Pixel Smasher in command. Christian there, I guess, getting some satchel kills for the win. Underlux, who always plays well, getting a nice high combat effectiveness score. So well played to both teams there. Thanks again, as always, to the organisers, because we literally wouldn't be here without them. S1, putting in work right up to the last minute, trying to sort this all out and make sure everybody's got all of their the servers and everything that they need, and making sure I can get the admin cam and everything. Thanks for bearing with me at the start with the little crashes there. I'm not sure what was going on with that. We'll try and get that figured out before next time. As I said right at the start, make sure you come and have a look in the Discord tomorrow, because we're going to have the applications open for next week's game. So you can join with your squad. It doesn't have to be, we saw just then when we were looking at some of the scores there, it doesn't have to be all of one community or anything like that. You just need to kind of come with a squad. That's how it works. It's a squad line battle. So it can just be mates, your friends, or it can be people from your community, or your friends and people from your community, or a whole bunch of kind of solo riders, as it were, who have all ganged together to come as a squad. You can play any position you like. We're always crying out for commanders. If you are going to play commander, that's awesome. Hopefully you kind of select that nice and early so we can get you on the stream as well, which is always really interesting to talk to the commanders after the game, something that I kind of miss doing. Then make sure you vote for the maps as well. I'm not sure if the map's been chosen. I think maybe it gets chosen a week in advance. It's not something that I have much to do with, but you can obviously vote for the maps as we go along. I see lots of people joining the stream now. Now the game's ended with the 15-minute delay. Lots of people jumped on the stream, but do share it with any of your compatriots. Make sure you kind of come and check out some of the other videos on the stream as well. Like I say, if you're interested in the seasonal, do check out the show from yesterday. It was a really good one with FOY on, who's a really, really great guy, and really interesting, talking about the stats. So we ran through the stats of not just top kills of each different game and stuff like this. We ran through some of the more interesting stuff. So some really interesting talking points about satchels. What percentage of satchel kills do you reckon a team kills? That's all I'll say. What percentage of vehicle running people over kills do you reckon a team kills? You have to watch and find out. It might be more or less than you think. But thanks again to all the players, of course. Thanks again to you guys for watching. Thanks for the organisers as well, on behalf of the players and also on behalf of myself, for giving me the opportunity, as always, to come and stream for you guys. It's been a pleasure. I will see you next week. And take care of yourselves, guys. See you soon.